So in this video, we're going to be looking at how we do mood profiling. It's quite a simple thing to do, as much that you give your you rate your feelings of how you're feeling against either right now or your best performance, your worst performance, or your memories of how you felt over the past month, and then you get those scores and you add up the scores for each factor: depression, anger, tension, vigor, so on. And then you get the raw score for that, which will be on a 0 to 16, and then you look at it against the norms. So then it'll convert it to where 50 is the average, and we plot it, and then we see whether you are an iceberg profile, an Everest profile, an inverse iceberg, a shark fin, or submerged, or a surface profile. We look at your mood profile, and then it helps us to understand how you're feeling and what we might do with that. So what this will involve is, firstly, you'll complete the 24-item Brunel mood scale. There's 24 items in that, and they're relatively straightforward to do so. They range from not at all to 4 extremely. And you just, so the first one, do you feel panicky? If you feel panicky, oh, I'm panicky, then give yourself a 3 or a 4. If you're not panicky, give yourself a 0. If you're feeling lively, I'm feeling, oh, I'm a little bit lively, give yourself a 4. And you go through each one of the adjectives, which will then give you a score. Then we'll add up the score, 0 to 16. Then we'll get the normative data, and then we'll plot it. And you can see at the plot there's an iceberg profile here, and that may be what your mood profile is. So this is what the questionnaire will look like. There are 24 items, no right or wrong answers, 0 to 4, coming down to 6 mood scales, and therefore it's pretty straightforward. You just get the questionnaire, take your time, but don't take too much time. Just say how you're feeling right now. And then we score it, and now this is where we just go back and we add up the items and we get a score. So if you put down 0 for annoyed, and 0 for bitter, and 0 for angry, and 1 for bad tempered, you get a score of 1 on the anger scale. And you go through each different mood profile: anger, confusion, depression, fatigue, tension, and vigor, and that gives you your raw scores from the questionnaire. It's again relatively straightforward to do that. You just need to take your time, go back over it, and work out what each item means. But it's basic adding, and I know some of you are going to say, I don't like maths. This is easy enough to do. You can go, oh, I'll do the maths then, and put your grown-up voice on. And here we come to the bit that really gets a bit exciting. So we've got our raw score. So if your raw score for anger was 0, then you go across to where that score is, and you can see what the percentile is, which gives you that's your normative data. And we do that for each one of the 6 mood states, and then that allows us to get the against average. 50 is normal, and you'll see 50 occurs at a different raw score for each one of the mood states. That's because people don't feel a lot of depression. It's not normal to feel a lot of depression, so a low score of depression is normal, whereas a high score of vigor is far more normal. And therefore, to get a very high score for vigor, you need to feel very vigorous. It's kind of the self-report how we feel. It's not an exact science, so that's where that goes with that. So we've got our data now in norms, and now we plot those norms on this profile. So if you've got an average mood profile, you'll have 50 for tension, depression, anger, fatigue, vigor, and confusion. If you are feeling an iceberg, then you'll have below average tension, depression, anger, and above average vigor, below average fatigue, but below average confusion. If you're feeling a inverse iceberg, then you'll have above average tension, above average depression, above average anger, below average vigor, above average fatigue, and above average confusion. What you'll notice is if you have got that inverse iceberg and you're above average, you might say, but hold on, the raw scores for fatigue still seem higher than the raw scores for the negative mood profiles. And that's because of that's one of the benefits of putting it into normative data, because it helps us understand it. And it is quite normal for people to have lower scores than these negative ones. Um, but it helps us get your mood profile and graphs it. And what you can do over time is get individualized mood profile. So that's what you've got to do. Score them against how you feel right now, and then we'll go into some different scenarios where we can see how they go against, say, best performance, worst performance, how you've been feeling over the past year, and so on and so forth.